I really see Brother James Gaffney as so deserving of the Theodore Hesburgh Outstanding Service Award because he spent nearly 3 decades leading an institution, and he really made his stamp on Lasallian education.
Brother James has made extensive contributions to Catholic and Lasallian education, whether that's through his service to ACCU, to the International Association of Lasallian Universities, the Lasallian region of North America, or the Midwest District of the Christian Brothers.
I think a university in our Lasallian circles, university president, is one of the most difficult positions of all because of all the competing constituencies. But I think his role as beginning, as most brothers do, as high school teachers, put him in connection with young people. Later on, he taught at the university here before becoming president. And then he was provincial and served as a member of the board and then chair of the board. So he had a great connection with the university, he had a great connection with people, and also understood the lives of students.
Brother James has done a lot in his time as a leader at Lewis to help prepare the next generation of leaders in Catholic higher education. He's mentored dozens of administrators and Christian brothers, created a dynamic exchange partnership with Bethlehem University in the Holy Land, and he's provided scholarships to men and women religious so that they can come to Lewis and get an education and then go home and serve overseas at their institutions as teachers, as professors, as administrators. In 2013, he received the Pro Ecclesia et Pontifex Award from the Vatican, and this is the highest honor bestowed by the Pope to a member of the laity or of a religious congregation. I believe Brother James Gaffney is one of the most consequential figures in the nearly 90-year history of Lewis University, given his achievements in the transformation of the campus, academic excellence, mission integration, and the fostering of a student-centered culture.
He has really fostered the Lasallian characteristics of the university and has pushed that so that the university itself, while there are fewer brothers, fewer religious on the staff, there's a sense of that this is not only a Catholic place but also a Lasallian place in the tradition of the Brothers of the Christian Schools.
Brother James Gaffney left Lewis as a university which was poised for continued growth. It's a place that he transformed into a place of deep beauty. He focused on details, the focus on the flowers and the lights, and of course the buildings which many presidents are known for. And he really made it a place where when people drive up our driveway onto campus, they are so pleasantly surprised.
He knew by growing Lewis from a dusty airfield at the end of a cornfield into a true campus of brick and mortar, he was not just giving them merely buildings, but also a place for young minds to develop into contributing members of today's society.
His ability to move the university forward was based on many very well-developed leadership skills. But it was, in a major part, also effective because he was able to bring his religious identity into the role of president. It was no mistake that there was a major emphasis on students. The time he spent, the way that students were brought into every discussion, it was not by chance. It was because that came from his identity as a Christian brother.
As a student, you could be sitting in a dining hall, you could be at your intramural game late into the evening, and you would look up and Brother would be walking through the dining hall, stopping at tables, having genuine conversations with us as students. And it was late in the evening, but he was there. And I think from a leadership perspective, to see the person who was in charge of the university so available was huge and very impactful.
In the Lasallian tradition, it speaks to the young person or the student that he is touching their heart. He remembers who they are, that they're individual persons. They're not students, they're not numbers, they're not part of a big population, but he knows who you are and a little bit about you. And I think that really makes it very clear. And they'll say our own founder himself talked about knowing the students as a shepherd should know the sheep.
There was a plan to construct a student center within the first couple years of my being here. It's really important that it's named after Brother James because he was so student focused. Every student on this campus felt that Brother James knew them personally. To have it be the place where students gather to be together and to kind of expand their co-curricular life, Brother James' spirit is in that building, and so it's really appropriate that it's named after him.
As we look in time, he will be remembered as someone who spent time with people, particularly students, but with all people, who demonstrated that everybody's life was important, that everyone had a worth to their own identity, to the things that they cared about in this world. And I do believe that that relational experience about, I care who you are and I want to know more about you, particularly in the office of a president of a university of a certain size, particularly to make that relational experience so important, that's what will be remembered.
Greetings all. I'm deeply appreciative for the great honor of being the 2021 recipient of the Theodore Hesburgh Award. Abundant gratitude to Sister Andrea Lee, IHM, a longtime friend, ACCU board chair, of course, very distinguished higher education educator herself. To Father Dennis Hochschneider, ACCU president, a great friend over many years, outstanding Vincentian educator, especially during his remarkable years as president of DePaul in Chicago. Also, thank you to the highly dedicated and impressive ACCU board, including my fellow LaSallian, Dr. Brennan O'Donnell, president of Manhattan College in New York City, to Dr. Kurt Shackmuth and Professor John Kilpatrick for that splendid video, to the Lewis University educational community, administrative team past and present, and certainly Dr. David Livingston, president, to faculty and staff and trustees, wonderful LaSallian partners, and to my fellow De La Salle Christian brothers, always supportive, collaborative, and remarkably student-centered. And finally, to my marvelous family, constantly and lovingly affirming me in my LaSallian ministry and identity. The significance of this Hesburgh Award is quite evident in the extraordinary quality and competence of past recipients. Women and men remarkable in their commitment to Catholic higher education and enriched by the particular charisms of their college or university. And for me, the LaSallian charism dating back to St. John Baptist de La Salle, patron of teachers, patron saint. He, his successors, all of our colleagues and the brothers, transforming lives since 1680. All of those past honorees and all of us have been continually called, empowered, inspired, dedicated, renewed, and gifted for our common mission and our shared commitment in faith, in hope, and in the struggle for greater justice. Always trusting in God's fidelity for Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever. And our mission in Catholic higher education, the same yesterday, today, tomorrow, and ever onward. And so may you, presidents, never, in the words of the scripture, never grow tired of doing good for your students. And so I end, because it is always the students, I end with a quotation from a mentor of mine, Brother John Johnston, longtime American Superior General of the De La Salle Christian Brothers. And he wrote, "The starting point of LaSallian education is the students. Our institution exists for no other reason than to respond to the needs of students. All of us are invited to have profound reverence for each student. LaSallian education, and indeed all of Catholic education, is always about students. Reverence and love for each student is the fundamental characteristic of LaSallian education. So yes, the students. So friends, thank you ever so much. Thank you for the great honor and the privilege of receiving this award and being a colleague with you for so many years. God bless.